Alright, howdy there gamers. My name is Sen, and it is not even 5 o'clock in the morning. And something I wanted to talk about is the realization that making fighting game content is fun. I enjoy it. Something very good that's come out of fighting game February has been hit confirmed. But forcing myself to make fighting game content is not fun. Um, yeah, I like making fighting game stuff. I think it's a lot of fun just because I love fighting games. I love playing fighting games and I love talking about fighting games. But knowing that kind of this, I think this experiment was a fail just because I'm not enjoying it as much. It's just a matter of like you have to do it. You have to do it every day and it has to be fighting games. And there's definitely different ways to present fighting games other than what I've been doing apart from playing them. And I had a couple ideas in the backlog, which I still will get around to, and I still want to do hit confirm because I have a lot of fun doing it. And I think it's probably like I said, one of the better things that's come from Fighting Game February, just because it's a show, it has a format, and I have another personality on me, and it forces me to play other fighting games apart from Dragon Ball Fighters and Guilty Gear and stuff like that. Not that I'm saying I wouldn't be playing those shows, but yeah, it just kind of dawned on me where I was thinking about like, all right, this is like I had some free time, like, all right, this is my chance to make some content. Like, I'm gonna go play some fighting games, and it was just like really hitting me that I didn't want to do that. I I wanted to use my time elsewhere. Like, I'm working on a writing for Dark Souls. It's kind of like slowish going. I have some ideas. I just got to get in the right like mental space to uh, continue to pursue that essentially. And I had some other stuff I wanted to do. I'm relearning how to play Yu-Gi-Oh again. I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh all the time. I didn't know if I wanted to do stuff with that, but I'm going to be selling some Pokemon cards today because I found some really cheap Pokemon tins at Walmart, and I opened like a whole bunch. I opened like 14 or something like that, and I'm gonna go sell them. I was gonna learn how to play Pokemon, but I don't really want to establish an attachment to another card game. Like I already have Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic and Dragon Ball Super. I don't need to be throwing Pokemon into that mix as well. And having that be another financial crutch, essentially. I haven't. This is gonna be an off-topic video, but I haven't had that much fun playing Magic. Really, I if I play at super casual level, it's fun still. But I think the card game that I love the most is still probably Dragon Ball Super. And yeah, I'm gonna start playing some Yu-Gi-Oh more. I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh a whole bunch back in the day. Me and Vince would play all the fucking time, and we'd like spend the night at each other's house just playing Yu-Gi-Oh all night, watching anime. It was super sick, big throwback vibes. And I think the deck I want to run is Elemental Blade. I think that's what I want to do. It seems like pretty standard. I'm sure there's ways to like beef it up to be pretty interesting, but I was playing the tutorial of the Yu-Gi-Oh game that just dropped. I forgot what it's called, Duel Masters or something like that. And that deck popped up in one of the missions, and I had a lot of fun using it. So I think maybe something like that. I'm not sure. I haven't really decided yet. But doubling back to fighting games a bit, it sucks because I do really want to make, and I will continue to make more content based around fighting games. It's just really hard to make good solid content based around fighting games. I feel like every other like genre of game or gaming is like innately more interesting. Like you have to be to a certain level to either make it interesting or understand why it's interesting. There's not that like oh, I run this class because this and this. It's oh, I play this character. Let's use Street Fighter for example. I use this V skill, this V trigger because I have some ideas around it, and like the footsie play around mid range because I think this would be very beneficial for this situation and this and this. It's not as it's not as like instantaneous to understand, I should say. Fighting games are hard. They're tough. They're not super hard. Like, I don't want to kind of send that off, because I do like to talk about the fact that fighting games aren't nearly as hard as people think to get into. Like, I had a video of training to beat Tasty Steve, because I was in his chat room chilling, watching him play Street Fighter, and he said he was doing viewer battles, and I was thinking about playing him eventually, but I hadn't played Street Fighter in so long that need to get some practice in. I started picking up Karen again, because she was a character that like first kind of clicked with me. I did have some fun playing Street Fighter. I think Street Fighter is still a very fun game, despite the bad rap it gets with like the whole netcode situation, and the memes it gets from early on in its life cycle, like the eight frames input lag or whatever. I think it's a very good game. I do. Yeah, and I definitely wanted to make a video talking about Mortal Kombat, because I like Mortal Kombat. I'm not in love with it as much as like any other or every other fighting game. Like, I think it's a good, solid game. I think the characters are cool and interesting, but the thing I never understood about Mortal Kombat was why it took to the public more than like any other fighting game. I feel like I could ask more people generally about Mortal Kombat than I could Street Fighter or Tekken, and then be like, oh yeah, like I know Mortal Kombat, I'm down to play some Mortal Kombat, and I didn't really understand that. And maybe it's just like the appeal, like the guest characters are awesome, which I'll definitely give NRS like that hands down. Like RoboCop, Rambo, fucking Spawn, like that shit's tight. And but I feel like their main characters roster aren't any more or less iconic than something like a Street Fighter. But I don't know, like is it because it's like the first experience to like violence? Is that it? I don't know. Well, like, what makes Mortal Kombat more quote unquote accessible to the populace? Because I don't feel like it's any more accessible, but the majority of people are more willing to play Mortal Kombat than they would a Street Fighter. I don't know. It's something I've been thinking on. And like, yeah, I used to play Mortal Kombat with my brother, my oldest brother, all the time. And he used to beat my ass. I was a little kid. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just like, what is a down two? What does that mean? And not that he knew, but my experience with fighting games at the time was like non-existent. I played them. I didn't understand them, but I had fun playing them. And somewhat recently, like probably a handful of years ago now, so not all that recently, me and my brother played Mortal Kombat 10, and I've been playing fighting games not super seriously for a little while now. Like, I had a basic understanding of like footsies and the idea of like ranges and like anti-air if your opponent jumps at you, and that's seemingly enough to beat someone at a very basic level. Even in online play, you can learn very basic things in Mortal Kombat and hop online and know how to anti-air and stay on the ground and just wait for them to jump, and it does the job. Like, you can have very basic combos and it more than gets you by. And the same premise kind of applied here. Me and my brother played MK10. MK11 had been out for a while, and like all I needed to watch out for were very basic things. Like, I picked up Scorpion. I hadn't touched MK10 at all, and he asked me, he was like, oh, do you want to play MK10 with me? I'm just like, oh yeah, sure, give me like 10 minutes. And I went into my room, I booted up my PS4, and I was like, oh, all right, Mortal Kombat 10 Scorpion tutorial, like Scorpion combos. And I learned a couple of very basic combos I used. I learned some things that were plus, I believe. I learned like decent spacing moves, and yeah, all in 10 minutes. And I was fucking up my oldest brother, who had been playing like all morning with his Liu Kang or whatever. And yeah, it's funny. Like, I don't know where I went with that whole tangent, but yeah, I can beat my older brother now, and that's funny. But yeah, what about MK10 and even his like girlfriend or wife or whatever? Um, Even she's just like, you want to play some Mortal Kombat, bro? I'm like, yeah, I will fuck you up. But yeah, what about Mortal Kombat just appeals to like a wider audience than like any other fighting game? I don't know. I have a idea where I wanted to get my friend who doesn't really play fighting games and sit down with him in like the living room or whatever and like record teaching him. I still think that's a good idea. I still want to do that despite Fighting Game February coming to a close. If I haven't already said, yeah, I'm not going to be doing Fighting Game February anymore. I'm going to be posting fighting game content as much as I feel like it. That's about it. Hit confirm still going to be a thing. I had another idea too. I still want to do a Dragon Ball FighterZ tutorial, even if I'm maybe not the best person to do it. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I wanted to tell a story about something. I do have an idea of I want to play a UFC game and see how much fighting game experience gets me in that game. I need to learn like the submissions and stuff and like breaks and whatnot. But apart from that, just like general like footsie play and stuff like that. Like I wonder how much it applies. It's something I've been pondering. But yeah, look forward to more, not just fighting game content, but content in general. Because, forcing yourself to play fighting games is not that fun. Playing fighting games is very fun, and enjoying fighting games, and fighting games are super sick. I cannot stress that enough. Like, I want to share fighting games as much as possible, just because they don't get the glory or justice that they deserve. And maybe it's a barrier to entry thing, I'm not sure. But in time, we'll find out or not. I'll see you guys later. Peace.